Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of Voice Radio, and I think we've got a new Pokemon TCG set name that we need to take a little bit of a look at. Now, I say think because we're back in trademark territory, and we do this when we have them, and I've used the examples many times before. The fact of the matter is that these trademarks, when we look at them right, when we stick in the right category and use a little bit of analysis, I suppose, and picking the right one, we tend to have a pretty good hit rate. Remember that Fusion Strike was a trademark that we saw a little while ago, or Fusion Arts, and then Fusion Arts has since become the Japanese set Fusion Arts, which is going to be our Fusion Strike. So the point is that yes, we are looking at trademarks here, but also we're doing so in a way which generally leads us to new sets, and our hit rate on this is pretty high. We need to give a shout out to the lovely Primal Lugia for helping us get hold of the trademark. So what is the trademark this time? It's Dark Phantasma, and we think it's a new Pokemon TCG set name. And actually, there are some predictions we can go for here. Now, obviously, Dark Phantasma is basically Phantom, which is Ghost. It is almost certainly some kind of ghost/darkness thing. It kind of has to be dark, darkness, Phantasma, Ghost. So then we get to the question of, well, hang on a second. What could that be? Now, the actual ghost Pokemon, the main traditional ghost Pokemon we see, that's your Gengar. And I'm not going to get too much into the etymology of Gengar, but I will say that, Bulbapedia points out that there is a kanji Maboroshi, which can be read as Gen, and is used in words meaning phantom or illusion. So clearly, and sorry for the horrible pronunciation there, but clearly Gengar would fit this. The thing is, thematically, why would we have a Gengar set right now? Not only is Gengar Gen 1, and we're really not in Gen 1 territory at the moment, but Gengar not long ago did get that VMAX deck, so it's not really the right time to bring Gengar back into the TCG. So although Gengar would make sense by the name, I don't think Gengar actually makes sense when we look at the set. I think we need to go elsewhere. Okay, so where do we go? And at this stage, we need to remember about the last two trademarks we looked at. The last two trademarks we looked at were Space Juggler and Time Gazer. And assuming these are TCG set names, which I'm fairly sure they are, there is almost no other possibility, we did a video on this the other day, there's almost no other possibility than they are Gen 4 remake sets. Because, to be blunt, Space Juggler pretty much has to be Palkia, and Time Gazer pretty much has to be Dialga. I know that you can, really bend yourself to try and get other interpretations, but I think at this stage it is all but a given that those are Gen 4 remake sets to fit in with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. I suppose there are some other ways you could go, but I'm going to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. As far as I'm concerned, they have to be Gen 4 remakes. They've got to be. And that leads me very nicely onto this point. Because actually, if we assume this is a TCG set coming after those, and that's a fair assumption because it's a trademark of what we believe to be a TCG set, made shortly after a trademark for what we also believe to be TCG sets, then at that stage, it's starting to sound an awful lot like this should also be a Gen 4 remake set. Essentially, rather than focusing on Sword and Shield Pokemon, like they have been for the past couple of years, with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, they give us a few sets where they start focusing on Gen 4 Pokemon, in the same way that the Heart Gold Soul Silver expansion led us into a 4-set Heart Gold Soul Silver block, which focused on Gen 2 Pokemon when the Heart Gold Soul Silver remakes came out on the DS. This all makes perfect sense. So then we're going to ask ourselves, well, all right then, what have we got in terms of Gen 4 ghosts? But not just in terms of Gen 4 ghosts, but I'm talking Gen 4 ghosts that would be worth theming a set around, because some random ghost Pokemon is not going to get its own set. Mismagius is a cool Pokemon. Mismagius is pure ghost type, but I'm telling you right now, right off the bat, Mismagius is not the kind of Pokemon that gets a set themed around it, because it's just your ordinary everyday run-of-the-mill Pokemon, and sets tend to be themed around more special Pokemon like legendaries and mythicals. So, what have we got in terms of Gen 4? And we actually have two very, very strong contenders. The first of which is Giratina. Now, Giratina comes along, and it's a Gen 4 Pokemon, dual-type Dragon Ghost legendary, and obviously it had a big part to play in the Gen 4 games. So it would make sense to have Dialga and Palkia as your first Gen 4 set, and then bring in Giratina afterwards. I mean, it is the third part of the creation trio, so it would make perfect sense, and it really does make sense to have a Giratina set. You bring in Dialga and Palkia, who are your box legendaries, and then that would be kind of like a double main set, and then you bring in a mini set, an A set if you will, and that would bring in Giratina. That would make perfect sense. I could absolutely see that happening. Now, the other one that I could see bringing in would be Darkrai. Now, at this stage, some of you are probably kind of yelling at me, Wassy, you've been talking about ghost Pokemon the whole time. Darkrai is not a ghost Pokemon. Darkrai is a pure darkness type Pokemon. Yes. Absolutely. But does anybody want to look at Darkrai and tell me it isn't a ghost? I mean, it's a shadow. Okay, fine, maybe not an actual ghost, but near enough, ladies and gentlemen, near enough. So even though Darkrai isn't a ghost-type Pokemon, we could look at the set named Dark Phantasma, and we could say with a moderate degree of confidence that Darkrai would make perfect sense as a mascot, as a cover Pokemon for that particular set. And of course, Darkrai would absolutely fit, being a mythical Pokemon from Generation 4. And I think these have got to be the two leading contenders. And for me, the question really is, how soon after does it come? Because I honestly really, really like the idea of doing a double set based on Dialga and Palkia, and then following up 1 or 2 months later with a mini set based around Giratina. That seems very, very sensible to me. However, Darkrai is a super popular Pokemon, and it is, like I say, a Pokemon whose name would fit, and a very popular mythical Pokemon. So I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. It's got to be one of these two, I think, but it really is hard to figure out which one. Also, the lovely Primal Lugia has reminded me that Atsushi Nagashima, who is the Pokemon TCG game director at Creatures Inc., their favourite Pokemon is Darkrai. Incidentally, if you've ever wondered why we get so many Darkrai cards and why they tend to be so good, that's basically the reason. You know that if you were leading a card game, you would keep putting your favourite Pokemon in with really good cards. If I was, we'd be getting Donphan and Mamoswine like every set, and it'd all be meta-breaking, so we would all do it, ladies and gentlemen. We would all do it. In terms of what the actual release schedule looks like at the moment, we don't know a huge amount. We know that Fusion Arts is coming out on September the 24th, and we know that the 25th anniversary collection is coming out on October the 22nd. That is in Japan. We actually get that a couple weeks earlier, which is really kind of cool. After that, we don't have any confirmed, and I mean actually confirmed, Japanese sets which have been announced and revealed and given dates and all of that. We are fairly sure that the high class pack VMAX Climax is coming out on December the 3rd. However, and we did have a trademark about that incidentally, do remember that that is not confirmed at the moment, and when it is confirmed, because we do think it will be, when it is confirmed, that is going to be a high-class pack along the lines of Shiny Star V. It is not going to be something along the lines of a new set featured around the video games and all of that. It is very much going to be a collector set full of fancy cards. But that's it. We've got nothing going into next year for Japan right now. And bearing in mind, we are sitting here in September. We're in the last 4 months of the year, and we've got nothing confirmed for next year. So we could just hit the ground running with Space Juggler and Time Gazer, the Gen 4 remake sets, and then going straight into this, based around probably Giratina or Darkrai. It is worth noting we did also have a trademark for Starbirth a little while ago. We currently have no news about Starbirth, so it is going to be interesting to see how that would actually come around. So there we go. That's what we know, ladies and gentlemen. That's what's gone and been revealed. For me, this is pretty big news. What this says to me, and this is why you should care, and this is why you should be excited. It seems like we are getting a run of Gen 4 remake sets. Now again, as I always say, this is speculation based on a trademark which we think is a set name which is unconfirmed, so take it with a pinch of salt. I could absolutely be wrong. But it definitely looks like we're getting a Palkia and Dialga double set, followed by either a Darkrai or Giratina mini set, and that to me suggests that there are going to be more Gen 4 sets, and we are going to get a little run of Gen 4 in the TCG, and I, for one, ladies and gentlemen, am completely and utterly up for it. But I want to know what you think, so let me know in the comment section, would ya? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.